Hey everyone, I'm Bite-Sized Otaku, and this is the build which Asmongold used at the completion of his playthrough of Elden Ring, and it's the definition of excess in terms of stats, equipment and strategy. But is the build viable? Well, let's find out, but like the video and give it to me bite size. So what does our equipment look like? Well, we're using the Tree Sentinel helmet and greaves, combined with the Raptor's black feathers and the Knight Cavalry's gauntlets. The Raptor's black feathers will provide us with a 10% increase to our jump attack damage, which will be super important for this build's playstyle. Our stats are pretty good, with our defenses leaning towards fire, and I would enjoy a bit more poise to keep us on our feet during combat, perhaps by using the Bull Goat's talisman, but it's a great starting point. Then we have our weapons. We're dual wielding the Golden Halberd with the Gargoyle's Halberd, which is an interesting combination to say the least. The Golden Halberd has the weapon art Golden Vow, which will boost our damage by 11.5% and our damage negation by 7.5%. But do note that the PvP values will be heavily nerfed. Then the Gargoyle's Halberd comes with the weapon art Spinning Slash, which I hardly ever use simply because it's slow and jumping is way more effective, but it's there as an option. For our talismans, we have the Claw Talisman, which will boost the damage of our jumping attacks by 15%, for a total of 25% when combined with the Raptor's black feathers. The Erdtree Favor +1 will give us a boost to our HP, stamina and equip load by 3.5%, 9.6% and 8%. Then the Great Jar's Arsenal will boost our maximum equip load by 19%. But an interesting choice of talisman is the Star Scourge Heirloom, which I'll explain next, as the stats for this build are wild and I'm not sure what he was thinking. So what do our stats look like? Well, we have 60 Vigor, which makes sense, but then we have 96 Strength, which isn't a problem for a meme-worthy build, as the Star Scourge Heirloom gives us 5 additional Strength, taking us to 99. But here's the thing, the stats only go up to a maximum of 99, meaning our Strength will be better off at 94, so the talisman can fill the gap, and we can save ourselves 2 stat points for more endurance. Furthermore, we have 15 Dexterity, despite our weapon only requiring 14, and 11 Intelligence, despite none of our weapons benefiting from Intelligence. If we fix our Strength, take our Dexterity to 14, and our Intelligence to the default of 9, we could save in total 5 stat points for some much needed endurance. You could save even more points by dropping your Strength to 55, but that's a lesser issue if you're going full Unga Bunga. And modifying these stats can free up some space for other talismans, which you may find more useful. This is based on a level 160 Vagabond, with all equipment upgraded 1 level below the maximum, which will avoid you having to use a rare Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone. So what's our strategy? Well, we're going to be spamming jumping attacks which have good reach and can deal a massive amount of damage, melting your enemies in a few hits. But while most of our attacks will be slow, this weapon combination has some interesting movesets which I think will benefit any PvP focused player, while the PvE crowd can practice their jumping. I like to start off by casting Golden Vow to grab that buff, which is heavily nerfed in PvP but better than nothing. We could then take advantage of both running jumping attacks to catch enemies within a casting animation, or standing jumping attacks to deal with aggressive enemies. Our running light attack is a thrust, while the heavy variation is a slash. The running guard attack has a spinning slash, which is useful for catching enemies who are running away and has great roll catch potential. But where this combination shines is with the walking guard attack, which has a slash and thrust followed by a double slash, which has great potential for catching enemies with shorter range. Then the Chef's Kiss is the backstep guard attack, which runs forward with a double thrust, and you can follow it up with another guard attack to slash, then thrust again, which can melt enemies providing the first combo lands. I can't advise using the light or heavy attacks in PvE, as they can be slow and they leave you open for damage, considering a number of bosses do not stagger as easily as humanoid enemies. Speaking of slow attacks, you may struggle against quicker enemies who make use of swords, daggers or curved swords. This is a bonus for weapons which stagger you out of your animation, like heavy thrusting swords. This will require you to have to master your spacing and read your opponent's movements to take advantage of our attack combinations. It can also be tricky to finish off enemies who are at low health, but providing you land a jumping attack or combo, you can essentially destroy your opponent's health with room for error whilst thrusting them for that remaining sliver of health, or just use throwing knives. Oops. But overall, this build is very effective in the most brute force fashion, maximising strength whilst maximising our jumping damage, which is already stronger than the regular variety. While we have some wasted stats, an interesting selection of talismans, and slow attacks, this is easily compensated by the massive damage we can deal against our enemies in both PvE and PvP scenarios. But at the end of the day, strength is the only stat that matters. Let me know your thoughts on the build, and of course subscribe. This is Bite Sized Otaku, and I hope you enjoyed.